Again, this is a two-part live pertaining to biasness, adoption, fostering of children by Caucasian people. Should it be allowed? Caucasian people adopting Black children, fostering Black children. Bring you this content due to this vile man and woman who are married, living in West Virginia, severely abusing their children, using them as slaves, modern-day slaves, to till their land and do chores around their house. Second part of this live, we're going to go across the pond to the UK. A toddler has been suspended from daycare. Was it right? Don't know what was said, what was done. I can only imagine. Assume the child said something that wasn't right, and obviously he or she had to have heard it, learned it from his or her home. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Movie of the week is Southwest of Salem. Is a documentary playing on Tubi pertaining to 4 women who are accused of child rape of 2 Hispanic children. They were in prison many years and were finally free, went to the highest court of appeals, and they were free, exonerated. Please check out that documentary on Tubi, Southwest of Salem. Welcome to the Vault Exhale, everybody. Let's get down to business. 2-part live, everybody.
May God have mercy on their souls, because this court will not.
An emotional sentencing in Kanawha County Circuit Court in child abuse. This after investigators say Ginny Whitefeather and Donald Lance locked their children inside a closed-off area of a barn in Sissonville. The discovery made by sheriff deputies in October 2023. The couple addressing the court Wednesday.
I just like the court to know that I have made mistakes and I'm very sorry for that. And I love my children. I've never ever done anything to any one of my 8 children to harm them intentionally.
Those children also addressing the court through
Very short statement from the husband.
The eldest child calling Whitefeather and Lance monsters and saying they were tortured mentally. Another one of the children saying, "I will be something amazing. I will be strong and beautiful. You will always be exactly what you are." Horribly. Even the youngest child writing a letter that was read aloud.
Taught to laugh at my siblings and told they were bad. I was kept from them. Now in my new home, I see that everything is not right there with Jeannie and Donald.
Prosecutors making a plea for a penalty they believe fits the crime.
I ask you to remember that Jeannie Whitefeather and Donald Lance have provided these children with a life sentence. They are beautiful and wonderful children. I cannot say enough good about these children. But they will deal with the effects of Mr. Lance's and Miss Whitefeather's treatment for the rest of their lives.
The couple likely to spend the rest of their lives behind bars. The judge handing down a sentence of more than 200 years for Whitefeather and more than 150 years for Lance. She also left both with strong words.
That they will bear the psychological scars of what was done to them by you, Jeannie Whitefeather, and you, Donald Lance, for the rest of their lives.
Abby Lord, WSAZ, Kanawha County.
Weigh in.
News for the generation.
Weigh in. Should white people be allowed to adopt? Black children? That's my question. Okay. Severe abuse children had statements read aloud in the court. Now, some are going to say, well, everybody's not bad. We hear this all the time when there's something pertaining to race. He's not bad. She's not bad. But it looks, from all out appearances, this white couple adopted these kids for nefarious reasons. They did not love them. As you heard her say, she loved the children. I love my children. I don't feel like I did anything intentional to harm them, but you did. Starving them, not feeding them, leaving them out to sleep outside in the cold. West Virginia gets very cold in the winter. Stay woke now. They weren't in the house. We hear there wasn't much furniture in the house. Even your brother spoke up for you saying, oh, they're going to move to a bigger house. The nonsense. See, there's always people aiding foolishness. Oh, they're going to move to a bigger house. Yeah, and that means the land would be bigger. Stay woke. More land for children to till. They had no intention of treating these kids with any type of respect. Okay? No type whatsoever. No type of respect. Everyone's different. Everyone's raised different. And it's not to say that Black children haven't thrived in homes with white people, other races. But some Black people don't feel like Black children should be raised by white people. A lot of Black people feel very strongly about that. They say no. And it's not to say that a Black children can't go to a Black home and be also abused. Locked in a shed, rafter, beat up, called names, not fed. It's the mindset of the caretaker. So weigh in, everybody. I'll put that up on a poll. Should DHS offices, adoption agencies allow Caucasian people to adopt Black children? Should they stay within their own race? This next subject matter is coming out of the UK. Very crazy story. I was debating if I want to talk about this tonight because I was trying to get the best content I could find. But I'm going to read it to you and we're going to work it from there. Toddler suspension for transphobia sparks global controversy. Newsweek is the source. A British nursery's decision to suspend a toddler for abuse against sexual orientation and gender identity has triggered widespread backlash, prompting political statements and online debate about disciplinary policies in early childhood education. The unnamed child, aged 3 or 4, was suspended from a state nursery during the 22-23 academic year, according to data from the United Kingdom's Department of Education. New figures from DFE show that school exclusions for transphobic or homophobic behavior rose from 164 in 2021 to 22 to 178 in 22-23. During the same period, 94 children in state primary schools were either suspended or permanently excluded for alleged transphobic or homophobic behavior, including 13 pupils as young as 4 to 5. Very interesting. That's quite young. What to know? The disclosure has triggered backlash on social media, mainly from critics of transgender activism. Former NCAA swimmer and women's sports advocate Riley Gaines wrote on X, formerly Twitter, a 4-year-old boy in the UK was suspended from his nursery school for transphobia. Yes, you read that right. We have reached peak clown world. Now, don't know how she found out it's a boy, but go figure. Author J.K. Rowling called the suspension totalitarian insanity and wrote, if you think small children should be punished for being able to recognize sex, you are a dangerous zealot who should be nowhere near kids or in any position of authority over them. Wow. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer distanced himself from the incident. A spokesperson for Starmer told The Telegraph, obviously the Prime Minister would not support those sorts of measures, while noting the specifics of the incident remain undisclosed. Pupils and staff should never be subject to abuse, but any action taken to tackle behavior should also be proportionate, the spokesperson said. Beyond commentary, the DFE said it expects schools to act decisively but fairly. However, for many, the most troubling part of the case is its lack of transparency. No details have been provided about what the child allegedly said or did, leaving observers to question whether harm was done or whether disciplinary policies have crossed into absurd territory. Okay. Now, Department of Education spokesperson told The Independent, all pupils and staff should feel safe and protected at school and should never face violence or abuse. Lord Young, director of the Free Union, a non-governmental organization, told The Telegraph, it beggars belief that schools are suspending children as young as 5 for breaching their transphobia policy. If your ideology is so rigid, it justifies you punishing toddlers for not complying with it. That's a powerful argument for discarding it. What happens next? The surge in disciplinary actions for transphobia comes amid broader concerns about school behavior, post-pandemic. According to the DFE, more than 787,000 pupils were suspended in 22-23, more than double the number from 2016 and 17. Of these, 84,339 were primary school students, up 31% from the previous year. And this is just a quick little chart that's in this article, I guess, pertaining to the weight of everything. Newsweek is the source, everybody. Well, weigh in. We really can't wait because we don't even know what the hell was said or done by the toddler. The swimmer says it's a boy, so obviously somebody got the 411 and it's a boy child. Boy children can be more boisterous than girls growing up, talkative. So what did the child say? Did the child call somebody a punk, a faggot, what? Just saying, what was said? Okay? Number 2, did the child notice that one of the persons was identifying as the opposite sex, but is not? So we'll role play. Little Johnny noticed that Bertha isn't really Bertha. Bertha looks like a man, and the child looked at Bertha and told Bertha, hey, Bertha, you look like a guy. What are you doing wearing that dress and lipstick? Is that what happened? Role play number 2. Bob don't look like Bob. So little Johnny told Bob, hey, Bob, you look like a girl. Are you a girl, Bob? Oh my gosh, I'm getting disoriented. It is not to poke fun, but like they said, there can't be transparency if you don't even know what happened. So what the hell happened in this daycare over in the UK? So now what are the parents going to do? Are they going to sue to get their child put back into school? What was said or done? Was it exacted towards a staff member, which I'm assuming it was? Was it a teacher, a teacher's assistant, somebody in the lunchroom, somebody that made, it was the janitor? What are we talking about? We're talking about a daycare. So it's just I wouldn't assume a daycare would have, be set up like a regular school, but I don't know how they do business over there in the UK. Somebody help the queen because I'm drowning up here. Help me out. What really happened? Children are very smart. That's what people need to understand about children. They're sponges. They're little bitty sponges who have to learn when to be quiet. Okay? Learn when to be quiet. So just like when a baby cries and the parents become upset, irrational, flip out, wig out, what you have to always remember is that a child can't talk when he or she is an infant, so that's why they cry. They cry to let you know something is not right. I'm warm, I'm cold, I need to be fed, my diaper irritates me. They can't tell you these things. So as they learn to walk from crawling, they also learn some type of speech if they're not developmentally delayed. And then they start to speak what they hear, what they see. And they emulate what they see. Once again, little bitty sponges. So if they hear somebody using derogatory language, calling someone a very ugly, vile name, then they'll go repeat that in the house or outside of the house. If they see someone doing something in their home, outside, on TV, let's throw TV in there as well, TV, video games, they will emulate that. So what did this boy child emulate and or say in the daycare? Are we going to find out that one of the teachers, one of the aides, is a trans person, and the child called the person out? And that will go to show you that children are very smart, and they are alert, and they are aware of their faculties. Because children are smart. You can listen to their conversations. All these viral videos of children talking back to their parents in the car, talking about where they want to go eat. They don't want McDonald's, they want Burger King, or they want Taco Bell, or hey, that's nasty, I don't like that. Okay, well, children can talk. And I got a feeling that's exactly what this nonsense is about. The child called out a person, which I'm sure it hurt the person's feelings. But what you have to remember is that if a child can see that you are not of the sex that you are emulating, then that means an adult can also look at Bob and know that Bob is a Mary, if you get my drift. And Bertha, drum roll, is a man. And I think that's exactly what's happened here in this situation. Is that I'll call the person out of their natural orientation. They're not giving us any information to tell us what the child said or done. So I'm going to lean on the fact that I believe the child called the person out. And like I said, if a child can look at a man and see that it's not a man, it looks like a woman, or vice versa, it's a man dressed up emulating a woman, a child can see that. Hey, why are you wearing that dress? Hey, why are you wearing that lipstick? You're a boy. You're a guy. You're a man. And yes, that would be embarrassing. That would hurt the person's feelings because it's, coming from a child and they're probably not expecting that. But the point is, if a child can point it out, then so can an adult. And I'm trying to decide which would it be worse. Coming from a child or coming from an adult. Either way, it's embarrassing to be called out. Hey, I know you're not a Mary. You understand what I'm saying? I know you're a guy. Now, we will further this conversation pertaining to acceptance in this world. That's why I put up that movie of the week. It's a documentary playing on Tubi, southwest of Salem. Please check it out. There's a trailer also on my community page. And you can decide for yourself if we are more biased now or we were biased 20, 30 years ago pertaining to homosexuality. These 4 women were put up on the chopping block and accused of rape 2 small girl children. And later, one of the girls came forward and confessed that she lied, coerced allegation against 4 women. One was including her aunt. And the women were exonerated by the highest court. Are people more accepting of bias, less bias pertaining to race, sexuality, homosexuality, how people live, act? I think we are in a more diverse world, generation. I see more diversity with people in general. The way a lot of people act and talk. People are not as traditional as they once were 40, 50 years ago. I have noticed that a lot. Even as being a 54-year-old woman, I can see even people my own age, they're starting to behave basically like children. Monkey see, monkey do. And it's quite baffling. And all this BS with social media and being seen and making videos and going live, it really has gotten out of control. Because it's just a world where now it's just see what I can do. See me, see what I can say. So it don't matter if you're 80, if you're 20. Everybody wants to be seen. And that's the world we're in now. It's like there's no self-control. There's no shut-off button. And it's only a shut-off button unless somebody decides to bring forward a lawsuit, they don't like what you're saying, or somebody decides to lay hands on you and put you down, if you get my drift. Because we do live in a more violent society as well. 2-part live, everybody. Should white people be allowed to adopt Black children? This couple here, West Virginia, they're currently incarcerated. 275 years total between the two. They spoke in court. I played that commentary earlier. Feel free to go back and catch the replay. What they said in court was a bunch of BS. They never cared for those children because, one, they don't care for themselves. You're entitled to your opinion if different races should adopt different race of children. Some people say yay, some people say nay. Now, across the pond, toddler kicked out of daycare because he said something or did something that was deemed inappropriate and biased against trans persons and or homosexuality. what was said, done. I have yet to see. I did a little reading before going live. I have not found what the child said or did. But as I said, I think the child probably called the person out. And it probably was a guy dressed up like a female, identifying as a female, excuse me. And the child probably called him out. Hey, you're not Bob, you're Sheila. What are you doing with that dress on? Did it kind of go like that? When I get an update, I'll bring you that said information. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video, take the polls on my community page. Follow me on the Newsbreak app, where I bring also hot topics and breaking news. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji, 129 Cash Out. Prayers for these 5 Black children who were abused by this white couple. Pray for their journey in life and that they become successful, loving human beings, because I could see them being biased and also racist and not even like white people or want to be around white people. And I pray they won't hold that type of hate in their hearts, that they'll learn to like all people, because that will be a tough journey for them after what they've been subjected to by this Caucasian couple. Now, like I said, situation over across the sea, I don't know what to say about that, because I don't really know what was said or done. Thank you all for your time. My movie of the week is Southwest of Salem. It is a story pertaining to 4 gay women who were charged with sexual improprieties against 2 children in the state of Texas many moons ago, and they were exonerated. Feel free to check out that documentary. It's now playing. You all have a wonderful week. I'll be back with more breaking news and hot topics. And yes, please take those polls. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you think about this live stream. Tell me what you think about this debacle overseas and the foster care and adoption. It's a debacle as well, because we have a lot of children who don't have anywhere to go. And usually, and it's sad to say, there's probably a higher number of children who are placed into foster care who go into a worse situation than what they came from. And we're seeing more and more of these stories, like the children here used and abused by this white couple, being hidden in barns, attics, crawl spaces, locked in rooms, not fed, starving, sexually abused, and then the worst case scenario, murder. And common sense should tell anyone, if you would starve a person, that's eventually what's going to happen. All your organs are going to shut down and you're going to die. So it's past child abuse, human abuse, when you decide to starve a person. To me, that is attempted murder. Thank you for your time. You have been listening to the Vault XL.